Hello, everyone. My name is Sofia Gonzalez, and I did my project on depression and anxiety levels in undocumented families. So, to start us out, the purpose of this study is because there is an increase in worry among immigrants since President Donald Trump's inauguration this past January. And because of that, not many studies have been done as of recently or as of January. So this would be one of the first studies after his reelection. Uh, there's also not many studies done on other populations. So, for example, the Asian immigrant population is highly underrepresented. And not to say that it's a bad thing that the Hispanic and Latino populations are represented, but this also means that other populations are also underrepresented, such as the Asian populations, the Pacific Islander populations, the Black immigrant populations. So, um, there needs to be more study done on other immigrant populations. And for this research project, I would like to study or have more studies focused on other immigrant populations. So, the effects of deportation. This quote here shows undocumented students had the largest coefficient, nearly double the coefficient for U.S. citizens, students with lawfully present parents. So what this just means is that the anxiety for college students was nearly doubled when the student was undocumented, whereas with the student with both lawfully present parents or parents that are lawfully allowed in the United States, the anxiety was decreased by double the amount. So the undocumented students had much more anxiety as it shows in this study specifically. Um, Also, there needs to be an improvement of reform programs. So for um for people that are deported or in the process of deportation, the reform programs are, as of right now, not very great. So there leads to a lot of anxiety and depression about the programs themselves and within the programs themselves. There's also an increased risk of anxiety and depression in children, as well as behavioral effects. So children that are undocumented themselves, or have parents that are undocumented, or parents that were deported, have an increase in anxiety and depression, and parent or children with parents that are at risk of deportation also show these increases of anxiety and depression in relation to their counterparts, where the children don't have to worry about deportation with their families. As for Asian immigrants, as I said before, there are limited studies done on Asian immigrants. Despite holding 20% of the American immigration population, there have not been as many studies as the Latino and Hispanic communities. And in these Asian immigrant populations, they also show high rates of depression, with higher rates of depression um, based on their immigration status. So, in one study that was done, Asian immigrants who were in the process of becoming legally documented Americans, they were shown to have higher rates of depression, and they had higher rates of depression when they were denied their American citizenship. Excuse me. So, for the method, I plan to use approximately 1,000 American residents. Um, this coincides with previous studies done on immigration populations, and their sample size was about 1,000 to 2,000. So I think 1,000 is a good medium. Um, so for the current immigrant demographics. This is what this table is essentially showing. The current I'm so sorry. Current immigrant demographics as per the United States Census Bureau. So as you can see, as I stated before, the Hispanic and Latino population holds 45%. So they hold the highest immigrant population in the United States. Asian comes second at over 20%, and then it decreases, but still underrepresented in many studies on immigration. Hence why I would like to study more of the Asian and white and black and the American Indian, Native Hawaiian, and other immigrant populations. So I would like to use social media through media websites such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, because these are more populated social media websites. I would like to use these to get the word out, essentially, to share the link. Um, so I would in in the study, I would like to exclude minors because there are too many complications with having minors, and this would skew any data. So I would just prefer to exclude minors. Um, I'm only looking for family members of illegal migrant status or people that are not affected. So in this study, I'm not really looking for people that are illegal migrants themselves, more just family members to see what the difference is between people that have family members in relation to people that don't have any family members at all of illegal migrant status. So for the measures, I'm using Beck's Depression Inventory, which is a 21 question questionnaire on depression symptoms. Excuse me. And the general anxiety, uh, I'm so sorry. The Generalized Anxiety Disorder 7, which is a 7 question questionnaire on generalized anxiety. And I'd like to integrate these together into one questionnaire. So these are essentially the questions. Um, So you, as somebody taking this, you would rate yourself how you would feel from 0 to 3. I do not feel sad. I feel sad. I'm sad all the time and I can't snap out of it. And I'm so sad and unhappy that I can't stand it. So you go through each of these questions. And then this section at the end, the interpretation, the person taking the questionnaire would not use that. I will use that as part of my data collection. And same for the generalized anxiety disorder 7 questionnaire. I would have them answer these questions, but the column totals and the severity, this essentially the scores and scales, I would not have them use that. That would be more for my own personal categorization. So for the procedure, I would be using SurveyMonkey to prevent IP tracking, just to make sure that things are safer in case the study compromises anybody's uh, immigration status at all. And as I said before, I'd like to conduct using social media as a medium for more participants and also cost effective. Um, I would do initial screening for age, migrant status, and current residency. So I only want United States citizens, and the other two I described before. Uh, in the initial part where essentially like the title page, I'd have the purpose of the study, make sure they're aware that the IP tracking is off, no personal identifiers will be used, and no personal information will be shared, just to ensure that level of safety because uh, the topic of immigration can be, especially now, can be kind of dangerous in a sense, just to make sure that people feel safe when taking this questionnaire. As for data analysis, I will utilize uh, the utilization of scales. So immigrant status is a categorical type of data, whereas anxiety and depression, I'm using a score. So I would use the multivariate analysis of a variance. So I would use that to kind of compare anxiety and depression scores against immigrant status and then compare those to each other. just to see what kind of effects there are. And then I would use JASP to analyze, which is just a software to analyze data. And these are my references, and thank you so much for watching.